Hey, I'm here to give you some feedback. It's gonna look a little different than I normally do it. I want to experiment with a couple of things just because this run is pretty interesting in a couple of the decisions made. Um, I watched this for the first time not too long ago, and I've rewatched certain parts, and I have a couple of questions about decision making, not only for feedback discussion reasons, but to see if there's like actual utility in any of them. So I'll just get started. I mean, it's obviously a really standard map list, so. Also, probably the most linear decision making. Like, it's 13 iron TNT. I was looking at TNT placement there. Obviously, with the two trees, it's like totally fine. Great tab crafting there. It doesn't seem like you messed anything up, but yeah, that was beautiful tab crafting. I was also pretty impressed with the inventory management here on the way down. I'm gonna argue that you could have done this like a little bit closer to the bubbles. Granted, it's just a ravine and you're just thinking about going, and generally speaking, the fastest decision is the best decision when it comes to like micro stuff like this. So I don't fault you super much, but it's just something to consider. And also mining towards the ravine instead of just kind of like parallel to it. Like if you mined like this way, like that's linear swimming instead of like having to go over here and then like just making a small turn. Yeah, this portal also I'm gonna have to rewatch a couple of times. Obviously you did it pretty well. It's just such a weird like situation for this portal. Yeah, I think he handled this pretty much as well as he could have. This isn't like the standard like super linear, not even linear, just like standard shit. Screams housing. This also like yeah, right. Double fort bastion. This is definitely getting a little saucy here, but could you imagine like the stray Enderman Pearl hang like backwards here? It's definitely not a play that ever comes up, but it's just an interesting thing to talk about. I'm talking about like a stray Enderman hang backwards towards home portal and home fort, instead of this fort. This chest routing was also something semi-interesting. Okay, why was this decision made? Because, like, when I look at this, what I see is, like, just a bunch of dudes congregated there. Granted, I think that this would aggro them all, but, like, Yeah, I don't know. I'm starting to see more. Like, there's a lot of dudes right there that's definitely gonna get aggroed. I think this guy might even get aggroed. But just a real interesting decision. Oh, gotcha. You mentioned something about the zombie pig, so that makes a lot of sense. Piglin AI time loss. Might as well go for it. AI time loss as well as, like, you just kind of got screwed on the pigs. I see it. You can just drop. You don't need to hit Q here. You can just, like, chuck the whole thing. Like, that's totally fine. They're going to be trading regardless. Like, the 12 gold in your inventory being traded up here versus in the hole just doesn't make that much of a difference. Like, you're going to have to collect trades anyway. You're going to... Like, the piglins are still going to, like, take a second to get to the hole. Like, it's fine. And of fucking course these guys are here. Okay, you said that you're initially planning home portal into, like, right now. This is a pretty impressive pearl to me. Kind of lucky, I guess, but, like, pretty well lined up. Obviously intention behind it, so. Like, lucky to land on that. And then here comes the, like, only, like, real big major time loss of the run. That's great. Great critical damage. Like, using that one block fall to just crit that thing. Great timing. Oh, okay. I thought it was the other blaze, but it's fine. Unfortunate. Cool. Ledges always scare me for this reason, man. Like, I don't know. Obviously, this is preventable, but it's also just, like, I feel like you give that guy enough space. I don't know. Actually, come to think of it, I think this is good. Nah, never mind. I was about to say you're kind of tunneling on these blazes when there's, like, a lot of good ones otherwise, but obviously, like, these blazes are totally great to get. The awesome part of this whole thing that, like, really stood out to me was just how zero wither skeleton spawned. Like, this is real lucky. And I'm, like, super glad that it happened for you. No boat eye in the portal animation? If you upgrade to 1.4.2, you don't have to wait for the boat to stop turning. I don't know. I full disclosure, I've been away on vacation for the past couple of weeks, so I know that some people don't use 1.4.2, and like for a good reason. But if you do update, like that's one of the obviously like good things about this. Something that I think gets lost on a lot of people is like pearl hanging in the situation. Like as soon as you get angle, you can like hold on. I'll explain it. Like as soon as you throw that, you just toss a pearl the same direction and then deal with everything else. It's like really mechanically tricky to do, but once you get it, that's like so free. Like you're just overlapping the pearl flight with the eye flight, I guess. Wasn't the best pearl, but you know, you're just kind of ripping pearls at this point. Jump scare, Jesus. Really, really nice preemptive, by the way. How much damage did that silverfish do? So you're on 5.5. I feel like just purling and just kind of like purling to portal room and then just doing the like pearl damage stuff in the corner is just like better. Like yeah, you can let that guy hit you, but silverfish just don't do that much damage compared to pearls. You could be like putting armor and stuff on while pearls are in the air in the end, by the way. Nerves, but it's okay. That was obviously not the greatest pearl that you could have thrown, but I think you'd know that. One hit. Super funny. Yeah, I guess the like main things that come up for me was just how good of decision making like the random stuff in the Bastion came up. Like I think that a lot of like runners, even in the sub 10 level, Like, don't really force these chests. Actually, I want to look at that again. Because I feel like a lot of people just, like, go here, hope it's dry, and, like, go for it, and then might see this chest, loot it, and be cool with it. This was such a, like, odd decision to me, but it ended up, like, working out really well. And obviously, like, you can, like, if this isn't here, you can just stem it back into the, like, main hole. But yeah, this was, like, the most interesting decision that I've seen, and it ended obviously, like, paying off, because I think that this is just, like, the safer situation as well, up here than down here. But again, like, nobody does this, which is why I'm, like, really appreciative that I got to see something like this.